Season 6 Team Blake is they're the most diverse team I think I've ever had on the show. And this year I think for the first time I just hit my button whenever I heard something that I loved, and ironically I did end up with probably more country singers than anything, but man, there's some rockers in there, and there's some soulful R&B artists in there. It's kind of a mix of everything. God even got a crooner in there. You can't really have an overall strategy with a team because you're dealing with individuals, and every person has a different weakness or a different strength, and you got to just treat each artist as a separate entity because any one of these people can win the thing, and the idea is just to get the one to show themselves as that person that can make it to the end. And I don't know that there's an overall strategy, when it comes to getting that final 3 or 4 or 5 put together. I love my job here on this show, and it's not hard to stay excited about it. Coming here and getting to work with these kids, especially when you get further down the road with them and you really get to know them and where they're from and their families, and you really do get attached to them. And I think that's the thing that breaks my heart about every season is when I start to see some of them go. But when you get to meet that whole new group again and you see how excited they are. We had a girl today that she saw Kimberly and she couldn't, she started crying. She couldn't get over the fact that she was here and talking to her, and it reminds me of what it was like for me when I started and how excited I was, and it shows me how lucky I am, to be in the position that I'm in now, and that's what makes me want to keep coming back here. It keeps the music industry exciting for me. One of the things that was interesting to me and excited me about being a part of this show, and it was a pact that at the time Adam and Christina and CeeLo and I all had together, was that we was going to keep the show positive, and we weren't going to make fun of singers or laugh at them or put them in a situation that is embarrassing for them, and they may not even realize it until they see it back on television. There's nothing about that's fun to us. If anybody's going to be made fun of, it's going to be us 4 coaches, and I love that. We've stuck with that since day one, and we've never deviated from it. We try not to be too hard on the kids. We just try to encourage them as much as we can, and if somebody does have to go home all the time, and that's tough, but we try to send them away with confidence and encourage them to keep trying this if that's what they feel like they need to be doing. I've been a fan of the band Perry since the first time I ever saw their video, which was Hip to My Heart.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's a true fan.
Really?
Old school TVP.
Yeah. And then obviously the whole world fell in love with them with If I Die Young, and then the rest is history, obviously. But we've toured together, and I'm a fan. I've never been shy about that either. I've always told people, they're my favorite band in country music right now. And this year, I'll never forget, I sent Audrey, one of the producers here, a text. I said, how about the band Perry for my mentors for season 6? And she said, I love it. And I never thought about y'all saying no. Thanks for not saying no.
Oh, we appreciate it.
Thanks
for having us.
Yeah. And we're touring together this summer.
Absolutely.
That's going to be even awesomer.
It's kind of like coming full circle because Blake was actually one of the first artists to take us out. I don't even know if you knew that, but he gave us one of our earliest shots as an opening act out on the road, which meant so much to us. And
Absolutely.
so we kind of feel like you were our coach from a distance. We would
Oh,
watch
my
your
God.
show night after night.
And y'all still made it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we kind of won the first voice, if you really think about it. We were on Team Blake before anyone else.
We did way before season 1.
Having the band Perry here as mentors really came in handy, today in one specific battle pairing more than I ever thought it would. They have got tons of experience on stage and recording, and I knew they would have great advice for everybody that they saw today.
Well, first of all, one of the pillars I would say in our career, and everybody's heard us on the radio now for a few years, but we've been touring since I was 15, and Neil was 8, and Reed was 10. And one thing that we always learned from were people giving us constructive critique, and I mean really looking at the things that we were doing, telling us what we were doing right, and telling us what we were doing wrong. That's how we grew up, and how we grew into the band Perry. So to be a part of that and give that back to these kids was really important for us, and that's really to me the beauty of The Voice, is that you guys really get one-on-one and and advise these kids. It's crucial, and as long as they're willing to take the constructive critique, no matter who wins the show, they're going to carry that with them the rest of their singing lifetimes, and it's so important.